record. So what I do either every weekend or every other weekend is I go through the charts on the weekend and I write down, I mark the charts and then I take notes. So I take notes of, let me move it real quick. If you need to ask a question, unmute yourself or just type in the box. Okay, so I take notes of like zones or areas that I'm looking at for expected reversals or breakouts, anything like that. And then the good thing is like some of these zones stay good for like the whole year. So if you're doing it properly, these notes should be able to last you for a long period of time. You should only be changing and adding to them if something in your analysis changes. So if a zone is broken through and you're looking for the next zone, you should add to those notes. But that's what I basically do every single week. And like I said, the thing is, why people make this harder for themselves is because they don't sit down and just do it all one time. And then they just try to analyze charts every day. And it's like you're redoing notes every day that you could just do one time and just basically add to it or take away if you need. So I don't have my journal on me. We're literally making new notes today, so we're going to do this together. So yeah, that's exciting. Matter of fact, I'm going to get pen and paper. We really, really about to do this, y'all. So, pen and paper, I'm ready. Pen, paper, okay. So, I start with the dollar. The reason for this is that we trade any major pairs, so if you trade major pairs, you need to be looking at the dollar before anything else. Almost everything is traded in correlation to the strength of the dollar, and you need to know what it's doing, and it's going to give you indication. And then you also need to study what correlates and what is inverse. Correlate meaning matches similar, and inverse meaning the opposite of. When it comes to foreign exchange pairs, the first pair is the first currency is the base, and the second currency is the quoted pair. I know some things I repeat a lot of times. Sorry if you've heard a lot, but for people that are newer, it's good to know. So base pairs are going to be directly correlated with the dollar, and quoted pairs are going to be inversely correlated to the dollar. So anything that is USD, whatever, is going to match what the dollar is doing. Not 100%, but it's going to be highly influenced. So I don't like to say that simply like it's just going to be if you buy this and buy these directly, but it gives you an indication of the direction the chart is going. And then quoted pairs are going to be inverse. So so people trade gold opposite of the dollar because it's XAU USD, which is quoted pair, which is inverse of the dollar. So that's an example. And then if you learn correlation and inverse pairs with other pairs that aren't correlated to the dollar, then you can trade those too. So that would be like UCAD and oil and things like that. So I have some of these charts that are going to be completely naked, so we can literally just do it from beginning to end. So first thing I'm going to do is start out and go in, right? That's what I always say, because I mean it. US 30 is not the same as the US dollar. So US 30 is Dow Jones, and S&P 500 is the S&P 500, and NAS 100 is NASDAQ. Good question though. US 30, so Dow Jones 30 is the top, is the top 30 companies, like top 30 stocks. There you go. Top 500 is the top 500 Fortune companies, and NASDAQ is the tech companies and those stock companies. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the month. We're gonna do trend lines from here. We're gonna keep it really simple. I'm only gonna mark things that I find important, right? I mentioned that previously when we were doing trend lines and zones. Could I mark 8,000 things in here? Of course I can, but is it gonna help me in my trading? If it's not, then are you doing too much? Most likely. Does someone else have a question? Also, this one is paid for, so we can go past 40 minutes. So that's exciting. So this is overall since 2011 has been bearish overall on like a yearly time scale. It started to, okay, so this was trending, I'm sorry, bullish. I said that backwards. I do that a lot. This was trending bullish since like 2011 for the most part. Had some drop here. This was making higher highs. So this was trending up. It's not till it broke market structure. So when you're considering a change in direction of trend is when it breaks market structure, right? This broke this was a higher highs that keeps happening here. After this higher high, when it came back through and broke here, and then made another one to break here, this could be considered bearish, but then see it rejected this trend line. And for it to continue to be bearish, it would have had to respect this one that it broke. But then it came back and broke this one, which means technically that it's bullish again. I hope that made sense to y'all. So let's do a trend line on top of here because it's probably likely respecting this area, obviously. I'm gonna do that. That's about all we can really do on a monthly. If you want, we can mark this zone because it's a big area. So let's just do, what is it, Alt H. This zone is going to be fairly important. You see it's a humongous support right here. It becomes a resistance right here. This is going to be a big area when it hits again. So we'll leave that for now. That's all I'm doing for right now. And we're going to go a smaller time frame. All right, so this is the weekly. This has a possibility of making a head and shoulders. No, we're not even close enough to tell. I'm not even going to really consider it fully unless it goes in the same area. And if you want to do a box, like, because this area kind of looks like it respects here too. So if you want to do a box too, that's cool. Let's box it. Let's do it. That's the wrong one. That's what I'm looking for. If you want to do a zone, let's do it. Go for it. There you go. Now we have a zone. So I'm not really going to consider this to make a head and shoulders until it comes in this zone, rejects it, makes a smaller shoulder, which would respect this trend line, by the way, and respect this left shoulder, and then has a possibility of rejecting and coming down. Is that going to happen? Who knows? There's a possibility, sure. And mind you, when it comes to stochastic on the higher time frame, this is showing it like going down, but this moves way slower on such a high time frame. So I don't consider that the movement overall for like the pair that I'm looking at unless I'm on a smaller time frame, like hourly or less. I still look at it to consider the overall movement, that it will validate possibly making head and shoulders and moving down to here. But I don't go as strongly towards considering the direction using that on a higher time frame. Hopefully that makes sense. This is stochastic. There's actually an indicator, I believe, that is stochastic RSI that actually has both. But technically this one does too. So this one is 80 and 20, and I think the stochastic RSI is at like 70-30, and it has like another line. Some people do them together. Sometimes I add them both. Like, look, let me see. I can't remember if I can add it to the same chart. I don't remember how to do it. It's been a long time since I've done it. Hold on, let me see. I can't remember how to add it to the same box, but I've done it before. I don't know. I know I do it on my phone, but sometimes I'll do RSI and stochastic on the same one. It's always interesting to do that because if they both are oversold and overbought at the same areas, it's a higher indication of what it's telling you. The reason why I prefer stochastic over RSI is because it already shows the exact same thing RSI does, but it also gives you the crossing, the intersection, and the moving average that shows you when the trend is really about to turn. Because it corrects, but see, you can use stochastic for divergence. So you can also use MACD for divergence. So, and some people like to use MACD for divergence because they feel like it's clearer because the MACD divergence has the histogram behind it, which is like solid objects, and it's easier for people to draw divergence on there because they can see it easier. So a lot of people will use it for divergence. I can see it on here regardless because like there's some right here which is also showing me the reason why I would have expected this to turn besides the trend line here and the price action is that, see this, if you were to do draw a trend line right here, it's going up, and if you do divergence here, it's doing this. So this is actually showing divergence that it was about to turn and go down here, which it did. But I like stochastic because the way I explained it in my scalping video, you'll see why I like it. So just go back and reference that. Going back to this. So I'm expecting this to continue down. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so what is the daily telling me? We have a triple top here. This is a triple top. This is why this drop happened, right? It's coming on a support right here. It is coming on one right now. That's why I had this little bit of rejection. Or I can draw another line if you want. See this area? This is a good area for it to have some pullback, or I can continue down. Oh, I missed Trump's news. I just realized that. Didn't Trump have a speech? I'm sorry. I just realized what time it was because that was at 9 p.m. So this had some of its move once breaking the ground on the triple top. It's already made some of that move. This price action is interesting because you keep having all these skips here. But I guess it's Tuesday, so that makes sense. So this was the gap after the weekend. This is the Monday candle because this is the daily, right? And this is Tuesday, so this is what's happened today. So yeah, I mean, given that it's in a support and it's a little bit down here, this actually might have a little bit of pullback. So if you want to trade it on a smaller time frame, right, do a trend line now on this. There we go. You can change the color if you want it different. I'm literally just showing you how I mark stuff on bigger, higher, smaller time frames. So if you want to change the color, cool, let's do it. So now this is a smaller trend line inside of the other big one that we're looking at. If it does start to go back, look at it to reject here and maybe continue to go in here to go down to this zone. But it is possible to have a little bit of pullback. Let's look at the 4 hour. Why is it not showing? Anybody? I need answers. Mysteries. There's always one thing that goes wrong during my calls, and it's interesting. I think the universe likes to challenge me. So I don't know why. But in the meantime, that's fine. We'll just do analysis on the month, week, and daily because that's all we can do. But if I were to continue, I'm really dumbfounded right now. Then I would go on the 4 hour and see if this matches that it's becoming oversold. But either way, on this bigger move, I'm looking for it to maybe reject this support a little bit and maybe come back down to this zone. That's my overall target. And I think Corey was talking, he was discussing 94 too. So he was looking at about the same thing I am. So keep that stuff in mind when we look at the other pairs. So before I go look at other pairs, does anybody have one specifically they want me to go over? Because usually I'll just look at the USD pairs next. So I usually will look at like UJ and like EU, AU, and then look at like gold and stuff like that. But I do want to have in mind what y'all want to go over. Yeah, I could do that. Let's just try another chart and see if it just wants to work like it should. It's not like I pay for TradingView or anything. Oh, that's right. I do pay for it. Okay. UCAD. Okay, I will definitely be looking at UCAD. Okay, so we're gonna go out here. Interesting. So by the way, some of these pairs that we're looking at, I haven't looked at in a long time, and I marked this zone all the way when it was here, and it respected that zone again, and it respected this trend line. Y'all see that? Look at that rejection wick. That's like freaking perfect. So I predicted this drop. I think Chalet and I was talking about this drop when it happened. Like we were watching oil and we were waiting on UCAD to drop. But I digress. Okay, so we're on the monthly here. All this stuff to the left is whatever. Let's see. Let's zoom out a little bit real quick. Just to get an overall picture. So this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that did that and then did on a smaller scale. Okay. So since it looks like it's copying here what it did over here, I wouldn't be surprised if it rejected again. Oh, this is UJ. There we go. I wouldn't confuse myself and call it UCAD. But UCAD did do that job too, so we'll get there. But yeah, we're on UJ right now. So it's still respecting this triangle. I know I drew this when we went over drawing trend lines, and I knew I drew this then, so it's still respecting that. So right, if you're taking good notes and you're doing this, look, my stuff is back. So I can go back to the other one in a minute. if you're doing really good, solid zones and trend lines and support and resistance, they will stay true for like years. So anyways, so I'm gonna zoom in. That was the monthly. We're at the weekly now. Let me bring back stochastic. Okay, so this is showing just like I'm expecting. So this is sort of a fake out here, right? So this happened. It did break out of here, and it probably trapped a lot of sellers. But given my trend line, I haven't been trading UJ as much, but if I was looking at this chart and I was trading it, I wouldn't consider like dropping a big lot size or a big sell until it breaks this zone and this box that I have marked, which it didn't, which is the reason why when I have these zones that I extend them a lot, right? Because just like here, when I have this zone, when I extended it, it helped me here. So, and if I were to extend this zone, I'm sure it respects here and all types of stuff. So that's the reason why I extend my lines a lot, is because it gives me additional feedback. So let's go to the daily. So this was a smaller one here. If you were to draw this, this is actually a pennant that broke out. Let me just take this away. I think I did that when I was teaching all trend lines. This right here is a, here, I'm gonna show you. This was technically, actually, you know what? Let's do it like this. This broke out of here because it made an ascending triangle. No, the thing's in the way. Whatever, I'll get the idea. No, okay. I'll get the idea. That's broke out of here. If you would have marked that, that would have been a perfect breakout. This is also the 3 descending peaks inside of the ascending triangle. So if you would have sold once it broke this support, which I have marked, and broke out this triangle, if you do this trend line, that's a solid ass sell. Okay, that's perfect. So 4 hours. Okay, so this is considered like a fake out. It did break out. Now we need to see, because now that it's coming back towards this trend line, all right, this is the bottom of the pennant, the really big one on the monthly. So I need to see whether it's going to come back inside of here and continue in here, or if it's going to reject this and actually will continue down. So it's in a very crucial zone. Given what I expected the dollar to do, we'll have to see. So let's see, okay. So yeah, I mean, you could technically mark this. This is a, let's do this. Let's mark it. You can do this as a channel. I would have originally said you could do this, and it's like a fake out, but it's not a full breakout. I'd rather do this. Because all these candles are so small, it's not seeing the movement that I really like to see for a good breakout. But see, it's coming to a point regardless. So likely what's going to happen is it's going to consolidate in this area where this line is, and then it's going to break out either direction. And if you actually look at US 30, it's making the exact same shape right now. So a lot of these are waiting for breakout. And this is also, by the way, a reason why most traders, including Roger, wait until Wednesday or after the trade, because Monday and Tuesday it's just setting up for the area that it's going to break out of. So a lot of breakout traders, like myself, tend to wait until Wednesday to trade because of exactly what I'm showing you. So I'm not going to go smaller than an hour. You get the idea. Let me go back to DXY really quick and see if it works now. Yeah. Okay, hold on. How come when I did DXY before it didn't show my original markings, and now this one is showing my markings? Whatever. I'm over trading view right now. I sit here and preach trading view to everybody, and it's just being a little jerk. I've had this marked forever. I traded this channel for a long time. I had this zone that I carried over. I predicted this to happen. I don't even know how long ago, because I posted it. I know I posted it with some of the admins, and we talked about it. So it did basically exactly what I predicted. It rejected this zone. Barely touched it, but it rejected the zone and started to break out. This one is also a descending wedge coming out the bottom. Now it's coming to this support. Why does this look different? Just whatever. So yeah, but this is already what I marked. It's just marked differently. So that's interesting, right? I'm still a little dumbfounded, but it's okay. We'll still analyze it. It's still that triple peaks I looked at. And I still said that it was going to, on the higher time frame, that it's likely going to reject here a little bit. Come respect this trend line if you were to draw it again. And then come down. Then it will likely try to make a right shoulder, right? I had said that it would make a right shoulder and then try to continue down to 90, 94 past. So whatever. You get the idea. I can't help that my phone is possessed. Okay, I mean, not my phone, my computer. EU, US 30 AU. Okay. So I just did UJ. After this, I'm going to go now. I usually look at EU and AU and GU together because they similarly correlate. Let's see what we have. Let's see. I don't know if I should keep these on or not yet. Let me just go to the markup first. Let's see what we have. So this is a monthly on AU. This is similar to what. All right. This trend line is overall trend line. It's going back to respecting the zone, still being bearish here. Made a big push here. All that stuff to the left is not necessarily important. The only reason why it's sort of important is because it likes to repeat itself. So if you see what I'm looking at right here, see how this repeats itself right here? Y'all see that? It's doing the same thing on a smaller scale, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does the same thing and pushes up again. But we'll see. So that's the monthly. Have this big move here. Stochastic is telling me that it wants to push up a little bit. For the weekly, that consolidation zone was awful. Like I've mentioned in the past, people wanted to make this a head and shoulders. It's not because it didn't complete the right shoulder, right? It did not complete the right shoulder, which is why it hasn't had a big drop here. I'm just going over shapes again. All right. So this is what happens during the holidays, everybody. This is called Christmas in January and all that crap. So I hate trading these. I like breakouts. So let's mark it. We can make a shape out of it. Let's do something with it and see what it tells us. Because you're going to start to see when you mark charts often that they start to make a lot of the same shapes at a lot of the same time. And so if you do this every weekend and you're waiting for breakouts, you can literally catch every single breakout. So the difference of how I trade now versus how I used to trade is that I used to try to have a goal and be like, I want to make this much a day and this much a week. And now I literally just look at charts all the time and I just maximize the crap out of opportunities. So instead of trying to force myself to trade because I wanted to make $1,000 that day, now I just, days when I trade, even if it's only 1 week, even if it's only 1 week a month, and it's like 30K, that's fine with me because that's still more than I would have made trying to force myself to trade. Now, if I really want to trade and make quick money, then I just do scalping, which y'all know. So there's always solutions, right? You just gotta do what works. But I also don't like to force trades. And I felt like when I was making goals like that, that I was forcing trades. We really want to go in here and break it down. The reason why I do these trends so that I can have like a parameter of what I'm having to expect. Hi, everybody else that joined. Who am I missing? Let's see. Allison, Kathy, Carlissa, or Lisa, Don, Monica, hi, Natasha, Nadi, Patrice, Sheila, Stephanie, Tiffany, Tina. The ladies are represented tonight. I love it. Okay, back to what I was doing. So I like to do these outside borders so I have an idea of what I'm trying to respect in terms of how I'm trading these channels. So if you want to trade a pattern or a channel, just like I already taught you, I think it's best to trade from the outside of the channel, and it's best to trade based off rejection of that channel. You can have zones inside of the channels. You can do intermediary trend line if you want. I'm gonna take this away because this is on a specific move. annoying right now. I think I have these lines. I think I did them when I taught y'all the support and resistance. But if you want to do if you want to trade on a smaller scale, you can do that intermediary trend line in the pattern, which I'm about to do right now. I'm going to change the colors so it's not as confusing. There you go. So if I was trading this for the whole last entire week, I would have sold off the rejection here. I have these zones, right? So I rejected this zone, buy again. Once it retests here, sell down to here. I have this zone marked, says it's a strong. If I went to the left, it's a strong zone. If it rejects here or here, I'm going to buy either way. Once it does that, it stays through here, continue. I mean, you can just do this forever, right? All these zones were great rejections. Here too, over here, you know. There's too many good opportunities in there if you want to trade it. I like to look for the big moves, y'all know that, but the move I'm looking for is going to be out of this shape. But you can trade the outside till it gets to the end because these shapes sometimes can take months. Like if you're starting from like the monthly, the weekly, these shapes sometimes take a long time, right? Because if I'm on the daily, these are daily candles. So this is at least a few weeks of this consolidation happening, which happened through, like I said, December and the holidays. But that always happens. Hi. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for in EU. Draw this similar shape. I want to look for a breakout out of this, but this is not a very steep descending triangle, so there's actually a possibility that it could break out the top and not the bottom, but I'll look more as an indication of where it's going once it's closer to the breakout. All right, AU. AUD I've been watching these forever. I traded this channel for like a whole lifetime, it feels like. Okay. So the only reason why I have more support and resistance lines here is because of marking them for y'all for that lesson, but I usually don't even have that many, to be honest. I'm gonna have this overall trend line, this overall trend line, and then I traded this channel forever, made stupid money. All right, this is why you continue your trend lines, right? I haven't been back here to do it. Look at that. Look at that. And if I continue this side, look where that rejection was rejected. That's why I continue my trend lines a lot. So it made its little breakout of here. It's being slightly indecisive, being that it's, you know, the time of the year that it is. This is actually a pretty steep buy right here. Kind of upset I missed that. I think Sam didn't miss it. He caught it. So this looks similar. What was it that we looked at that had a rejection look like this? Was it EU? I don't know. There's another pair that looked just like this. It's probably EU. I don't know. Either way, there's someone about to assist me. It was UJ. No, you're right. Okay, it was UJ. Which is interesting because one's a base pair and one's a quoted pair. So it's interesting that it's similar. But we'll see what happens. I don't really like this setup right now. All I can really tell you on a smaller scale is that the 4 hour is looking like this. It's looking for rejection. If it rejects this area, then I'm going to go for a sell. That's about all I'm going to tell you. Let's do EU because it should look very similar. So I didn't write down all the, I just didn't. Okay, so also looking to come up here and reject and go down. So they're both probably likely going to reject a zone and go continue down. So they're both looking for a short sell. Let's do USD CAD. Go to the monthly. Interesting. Super interesting. Okay. This is the intermediate trend line. All right, that's one heck of a steep movement right there. You can probably also do one. Honestly, I'm gonna do one underneath too. Let's do one underneath here. I'm probably gonna need that. And I can adjust it if I need to. All right. Let's continue to the daily. All right, let's mark a little more than everything. Okay. I haven't used many fibs yet because I don't know. I'm trying to get y'all to see how the charts move just based off lines and zones and resistance and support. Now, on all the ones I just did, I can take out fibs to give myself more boxes and more zones. I already went over how to do that, as did Roger, but I'm trying to keep it really simple this time. And maybe next week I can really break it down in slight detail of like adding fibs and stuff. But I want y'all to just understand overall market structure and how I generally mark zones and how simple like these zones and trend lines are. You don't have to put like 8,000 things like everybody thinks they do. I just looked at the time, it's 10:10. I always look at doubles and triples and everything. Okay, so this looks like it's an important zone. I have it marked for whatever reason. Now this is trending bullish, right? Because it's making higher highs. So it's likely to stay in this channel. It can either respect this zone, because you can also do an intermediary trend line here, like the 50% line in this channel if you want. Let's go to the daily. I think I am going to extend the zone. You know what? Let's do a fibs, because this is a trending market, correct? So if we do a fibs, then it will likely give us a zone. I wouldn't be surprised if it matches there. So let's do it. Now I'm eager to do it because I talked about it. All right, so this is the 60. This is the 61.8 basically, and this is this zone. So this is about right because this is going to be like the next two zones I'm looking at, this line and this line, which are both respected here. So if it goes to this zone, then it will be rejecting on the channel, which is also expected. So it probably actually will go through that zone. We'll see. But if y'all haven't learned yet, when I do zones and I do support and resistance, I trade based off how I react to that zone. I'm not gonna necessarily guess. You can use these to guess, and you can use the strength of the dollar to guess or to give you more feedback. But I like to go based off the rejection areas or the breakthrough of the zones that I'm trading. So let's look at, I don't want to go into too much detail here, you'll get the idea. I wouldn't be surprised though, because this has been over, see how oversold this is and see how steep this drop is. The way the market moves when it comes to impulse and correction, it barely has moves like this without having some type of correction. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does have some correction in the zone and then continues to where I expected. So yeah. So this is going to start to create divergence, right? Because this is going to become flat and this is going to become at an angle. If I go to the 1 hour, I'm sure it's fairly extreme, right? This here, this here. So I think it is going to reject this zone a little bit short term. And then it'll probably reject this a little bit short term and then continue down. We'll see. All right, let's look at oil. No, it's freaking oil. Isn't it US oil? Y'all enjoy laughing at me. I laugh at myself a little bit. Is it you? Hold on. I need assistance. Someone tell me what I'm looking for. I thought it was US oil. I haven't marked oil on. I've been marking oil on my phone for the last like 3 months. Okay, we're not doing oil unless someone can help me after you stop laughing at me. Then, okay, someone mentioned Dow Jones. Let's do that while my memory comes back. All right, I'm gonna plug my computer in first though. 1 second. It actually did reach, so that's nice. Okay. Did anybody remember oil while I was gone? No? Okay. I thought it, maybe it is USD oil. I thought it was US oil. Let's try that. No, definitely not that. Is it crude? Is it crude oil? Is that what it is? Did someone find the answer to me? Crude oil. So that's what I thought too, but then that's what I just said. Well, my shit's broken. My shit don't work. Okay, whatever. Fine, be that way. I'm not looking at oil. If y'all really want it, I'll post it and I'll post it on my phone later. Dow Jones. CGI, that's all the most thing to think. Yep. Okay. Let's go to monthly. Right. I don't really have this to move anymore. Make these shorter. See, also that M, a lot of us caught that. Explain that's what we've been selling forever. I don't really have to have this line that long, but I do for some reason. I think initially I thought it was going to try to make a descending wedge and it broke out of it, so I'll just make it shorter. See, I'm always willing to change my analysis, right? But still keep those lines there because it's important. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm going to try oil one more time after this. So I broke out the bottom of here, came to this area. I did more analysis on my phone and I posted it in the indices group, but it broke out of here. Once it rejected the zone, you're good to sell it. I had a really strong support here, right? So it broke that zone and through this channel, so that was a really strong indication for the sell right here. Actually, let me go back to the weekly. If you do the trend line extension, you actually see that this goes to that. Okay, so once it broke this area, I can use this trend line to see where it's going to go. And that's exactly what happened here. You see that? So once it broke this line and this really strong support, when I'm looking for the next zone for it to go to, I'm going to draw this trend line that I didn't have here yet. And that's exactly where it freaking went. So that would have been my take profit. When it rejects this area and goes to the next zone, what am I looking for? This is going to be my next take profit on my buy, which is exactly what I traded. So that's what I had marked on my phone that I don't have marked here. So I don't know if it's UTI oil because that's only on the phone, but I'll look at it. Search the site first and go through. Yeah, I'll probably do that. I started to think that maybe that was a harmonic pattern, but it's not. It's way too steep to be one. So now what we're looking for is to see how it reacts to this area. I'm expecting it to reject. And I think we're looking for a drop because if you go on a smaller time frame, that's what I showed to y'all earlier in the 1 hour. Is that it's sort of making, you can either draw a really small one here. You can either draw like a really tiny wedge here, or you can even try to do a bigger one. So what am I saying? I'll tell you. You can either draw a really small one right here if you want. It's super cute. You would want to draw this on like, let me go like the 30 minutes or something. You can draw that if you want. Or if you want to go bigger, you can do it on the 1 hour and kind of make this work because this technically fits these channels too. Maybe not. Maybe not. Either way, it's consolidating and it's coming to this point. It's also coming to a resistance right here. So it's a big possibility that it's going to reject here and drop out the bottom. Also, given what this is telling me, right? So that's what I'm looking for this. Now, mind you, I've only seen one descending wedge where it broke up the top, and that was on USD Swiss. That was the only time I've ever seen it. Typically, this always breaks out the bottom, so I'm looking for a sell on this. So we'll see. What else? Okay, so I haven't done GU. I did EU, AU. I made the mistake of not taking notes and putting down. So everything that I've been telling you though is what I write my notes. So I'll put possible head and shoulders, support at set, write down the level, support at said level. If rejects at this level, and I even give myself notes of what to do at those levels. So like if rejects this level, buy. If it breaks this level, sell. Like you should be able to have such good notes that when you go back and look at your chart, you just look at your notes and like, okay, it's not ready yet or it's ready. You should be able to tell also by looking at your chart, but I want y'all to get used to doing that so that you are forcing yourself to look at charts in a certain way and look for specific things. All right, G. This is doing the same thing here, right? That the other chart was doing. Y'all are learning quickly from doing my calls that I have really bad short-term memory. And it's not from smoking like y'all think. I know Nadi and Sarah over there thinking that. It's from having a pacemaker and flatlining a few times, but I digress. So the monthly here is a little weird, okay? I have that pretty double top. I have way too many lines here. So I don't need all these lines. I think I had these here because I was teaching y'all. But I don't need all these lines because it's only over here. So like I have way too much here. So I'm just getting rid of some of these because they're not even necessary. All right, that's a beautiful M. That nice little channel down. This channel is similar to AU's channel. Y'all remember that? So you'll start to see certain pairs. Wrong button. I'll start to see certain pairs, correlation on patterns. They're not exactly the same. Some of them more than others, but you'll start to see things over and over again, right? That you saw in other charts. So the more charts you have, the more you'll see that stuff. All right. We had this channel here, broke out. Made this nice little move, kept respecting the zone. You could have kept selling off of this zone, right? This technically here, like this broke out of here. You could even extend that look and respects it right there. I don't know that you draw like that, but if you extend this trend line, it bounces out of here. I think this is looking for a bigger push. Let's see. So yeah, I'll just break it down to smaller scale. I don't like trading stuff like this. I like the big moves, and this is just boring for me, as you can tell. But if you find stuff in it, trade it. This broke out of here because this was an ascending wedge right here. Look. This breakout right here happened out of this. That's the reason why I fell out of here, was because it broke out of this shape. So that's why I keep telling you to have all this chart time. You see how I recognized all of those like so quickly, is because I don't even have to mark them. I really just mark them to show other people. But yeah, look for the move here. Extend those lines if you want. If you extend this line, the top one, I don't know. I don't want to trade any of this. Go for it if you want to. It doesn't make sense to me. What other pairs do I want to look at? I know I didn't do that many of the JPY, and I know I didn't do. I already did Dow Jones. S&P and NASDAQ are going to be similar to Dow Jones. That's why I just did that. But take a look. The same thing, right? That's the 2 hour fill day. It's a little bit different. It didn't make the exact same M, but it did have a similar rejection. This one just pushed a little higher, but it still made it M up here. It's a similar shape, right? If I were to draw a channel here, it broke out underneath this channel. Tested that same trend line. It's coming back to that channel. So all those are going to mirror about the same move, even though they look a little bit different. They're making, in essence, similar moves. So I'm not going to do the other ones. It's the same. Because you have foreseen the spike on that pair. Which spike? You're talking about the rejection wick? Can you show where your possible entry would be when you catch a breakout? Which breakout? Can you show where your entry would be? I'm not sure that I get your question. Similar to what I drew on the other one. Whenever I'm looking for breakouts, I'm looking for it to either come out of a consolidation zone and explode out of that, or I'm looking for it to reject the area or break through an area. This looks just like the other one, right? So I'm not looking for a breakout. I'm looking for it to either reject here or go back in the zone. I'm expecting more likely a rejection. We'll see. Given how this is how the 4 hour looks. It looks like it really wants to reject here on all the hourly charts. So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow morning. I'm hoping for a rejection in the sell. You can do a sell limit. I like to rather do market execution. If you want, you can do a sell stop, but the problem is that it has to be under current market price. So right now that would be a late entry, but of course, if you're looking for it to move all the way back to at least the support, you can still do a sell stop and catch some of this. But I like to use sell stops for, I prefer to use sell stops for like a continuation of a trend instead of like, this would be better for a sell limit than a sell stop. But I don't know that I answered your question. Hold on. Why did it have so many gaps? That's a great question. It's because I want a smaller time frame. So remember, some pairs move from like Sunday night till Friday, or I'm sorry, Sunday at 5 p.m. till Friday at 5 p.m. Like the Forex pairs don't have those gaps. When it comes to the indices, they close every day for an hour. So it has gaps from the daily and from the weekly. So these gaps are from, okay. Sorry, I think Jamal was trying to log into the Zoom. All these gaps are from like the daily close of market and open of market. So this was today's, this is the hourly chart. This was, yeah, if you count it out, it would be the hours in a 12-hour market cycle. So there you go. Anything else? I didn't really, let's hit a goal real quick. I haven't hit the goal in a while. Then I'll probably wrap it up. Unless y'all have something specific you want to ask me. No, NAS 100 is NASDAQ. It's the same thing. So NAS 100 is NASDAQ. S&P 500 is S&P 500. And then DGI is also Dow Jones Industrial Average. Our Dow Jones are US 30. They're all the same thing.
Elise.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm always
You're good.
Okay.
What's up?
Shh. Sorry, my baby's sleeping.
Okay.
So when I look up NDAQ, I've got the gaps. When I look up NAS 100 USD, I don't have the gaps, but they're the same?
I believe so. They should be the same. Yeah. So I know that the gaps, like when it comes to looking at it on my phone, the gaps aren't that big. When I look on here, the gaps are bigger. So sometimes it just depends on the platform.
Okay, because my NASDAQ Inc. .6 bats, 60 bats. I just want to make sure that I'm not picking the wrong chart.
Typically, if it lags like that, sometimes it could be the internet or like the platform you're looking at might just be lagging too. So it really just depends, to be honest. But I mean, it could have gaps in it. It closes every day for an hour, you know, in between sessions. So
they just look, my US NAS 100 on the 1 hour on any chart looks way different than my
I don't know if I have that.
NASDAQ.
You said US NAS 100? Yeah, mine doesn't even have that. India. So technically, okay, all these different ones are like for options tradings. So you can actually trade different parts of NASDAQ. But so you actually might be looking at a different variation of it, but they're all,
Yeah.
seeing how these all say NASDAQ, but they have different sectors.
Yeah, I have a NAS 100 USD and an NDAQ, which is NASDAQ Incorporated, is what it looks like.
Yeah, this is the main one that we trade.
The
So
NAS
the NDX,
100.
this says NASDAQ 100 is trade. That's what we're trading, typically speaking.
And that's the one with the gaps. Let me just go to the bottom. Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, the one with that looks like it's all choppy and broken up.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, but if you do this and you look at the market cycles, you can see they happen at the same time. Hold on. So that last one was 16. I'm looking down here at the bottom. See how the gaps are at the same time? This is 16. This is 16. See that?
Mm-hmm.
This one says 15, 16. So the gaps happen at the same place. It's just the market opening and closing. See that? Now see I'm looking at the bottom. There you go. So those are all the same times. It's just the opening closing of the market. That's all. There you go. But yeah, so all the different NASDAQ ones there are for like options trading, I believe, where you can buy different sectors of it. But we don't really trade it, so it's not as important. But that's in essence what it is. All right, let's go really quick and wrap it up. So monthly has been making this. I think we went over this a little bit. So once again, this is respecting. So remember UJ? UJ was the opposite of this. Remember how I said that they're inverse? UJ was coming down to the bottom of this. And UJ is a base pair USD, and this one is a quoted pair. It's going to be opposite. So y'all should be able to see that exactly what I'm referencing with that. And as you see here, I'm looking for this rejection. The price action is starting to make tweezer tops. So it's showing us that it likely is going to reject and go down. And I can tell you it's not based off the head and shoulders. And the J for them is not on this call, but I'm still going to say it. So this actually could make 3 peaks. And then once it comes back in the zone after this support, you want to sell. If you don't want to miss it, do a sell stop past this support. But you want to make sure that it clearly breaks the zone before you do that. But mind you, it could just come here and reject and go up. But I think it's going to come back in. We'll see. Okay. So then how to back test where you enter a buy limit for the last breakout without showing the right of the screen. Was that on this pair or a different pair?
The shoes you were doing
When I was doing. Oh, bad signal. Let's see. I didn't get that. Oh, you were talking about for, what was the one I did fibs on? Is that what you're talking about? I don't even remember what pair that was. Here, let me show you how you would do it on this market. Let me go on this one. G is going along with. All right, let's do it. Let's go back to GM. Let me go back and see where we were. Right, so this, if you wanted to do fibs on this, I don't know where the buy limit is, but so a buy limit, yeah. So a buy limit, it would have to come back down to this zone. So I would either set it here or set it here. And it's gonna, it has a long way to go before that though. But you could do one there. A lot of the other ones, if you're looking for it to go and reject a certain zone and it's gonna go work with the limit, and it aligns with fibs and like a support and a trend line, then go ahead and do it. You know, at least practice in your demo. You have bad short-term memory too, Nadi, but your reason is different than mine. I think it was this one. So if you want to do a buy limit here, you would want to do it based off rejection off this stone. So I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. But do y'all have any questions? I mean, I tried to break down thoroughly how I go through charts. I'm not sure that I really finished doing gold, and I guess I tracked a lot. No, I did. I said it was probably going to reject and come back in here. We'll see. Basically, all I'm ever doing every single time that I come back each week. So when you come back the next week, you're going to look at your zone, see if it respected or if you need to change those areas. You're going to see if it did as you predicted, if you need to add or change your notes. And if you do that every single week, then you're good to go. The other reason why I'm expecting this to go down is look at this divergence. Y'all see how it's flat right here and how it's been going up this whole time? That's hella divergence. So it's likely to try to turn. So that's another indication of what we're looking for. I don't know specifically. So the way I know specifically where to enter and exit a trade is based off my zones and based off, for entering, I look for my confirmations. I've already gone over a lot of them with you. Price action is one. The main specific thing I look for is either rejection or breaking through area, right? So now that I have it close to one of my areas, I'm not looking for a sell here until it comes back inside of this shape. Because if it rejects it, then it's going to be a buy. And if it breaks back into the zone to come back and trade the shape some more, then it's going to be a sell. So I'm going to look at stochastic, which I've showed a lot throughout this webinar. I've looked at divergence. This one has divergence. It's saying it's oversold. It's also sort of giving me price action. I think it's probably making a descending wedge of sorts. You could technically mark this if you wanted to. This could just be a continuation. We'll have to see. You can either mark that, or if you don't want to include the wicks, if you don't want to do the wicks, you can do this. Just decide what you're going to mark and stick with it. But if you don't mark wicks, keep in mind that they are there. But see, the wicks are supporting this zone. So it might just do this and either break out the top. But see, given the divergence that I saw in the higher time frame, even if this breaks out the top, because remember the moves, when it comes to shapes, the moves only reflect based off the time frame they're on. This move right here, this shape is on a smaller time frame. So even if it does break out the top, it might just come to where it was here, which would actually create an M, or double top, which would give it a bigger push to come back in the shape. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah. So I determine when to enter my trade based off my confirmations. You need to have your own confirmation checklist. Mine is usually price action, rejection, or breaking through a zone. I'm looking at stochastic. I'm looking for divergence. I have a few things I look for. Decide when to exit a trade. You should be using the exact same zones that you use to get in and out of a trade for your take profits. So if you have, when I'm looking for a sell, I'm looking for it to go to my previous zone. So it's going to be here. If you're not sure and if you're completely clueless, then just do fibs on everything and look for it and just mark those lines. So if you want to do this whole shape for whatever reason, and you're not sure of targets, then just mark these lines and use those as your targets. That's what I did for a long time until I naturally saw them on my own. You can also use fibs for targets. You don't have to use it just for pullbacks. Makes sense. All right, good. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. And yeah, feel free if you mark any charts to post them, and so I can give you feedback. Let's have a good trading week. I'll try to catch that Dow Jones move and all those other moves if we can and make some good money. So thanks for coming.
Elise, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, please.
In your settings, I'm trying to get the stochastic by itself, and for some reason, I hit the little plus sign, and under stochastic, I can't seem to get anything but the stochastic RSI. What am I missing?
Did you search? If you just do stock, it shows all three. When you search, does it have all three of these?
I only have stochastic RSI, volatility stop, least squares moving average, and relative strength index. And when I put in stochastic, I just get stochastic RSI under built-ins. It's really weird. And I have TradingView, and I paid for the upgraded version.
So you don't have just, well, you can use the stochastic RSI.
Except it looks different because the settings have one extra. It goes 14, 3, 3, 14, and then you have to pick whether it's high, close, or whatever. And so it doesn't, I was looking at it, it doesn't look like yours.
I don't know why you don't have it. I can't even.
I know, right? It's weird.
I don't know that TradingView and have to chat with them.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's super strange. The only stochastic I have is the stochastic RSI, and the settings are a little bit different than yours for sure.
Yeah, I'll look into it and try to get back to you.
Okay, that would be great.
But yeah, I don't know why, honestly.
Yeah, it's super weird. I mean, if it was exactly the same, I'd be like, no problem, but then I can't set it. Okay, thank you.
So the settings are just a little bit different. I'll look at it. I'll figure it out. I'll see if I can figure it out. But all right, ladies, I'll see y'all next week.
Thanks.
All right, bye.